In this video, we're going to talk about properties of equality in algebraic proofs. So basically, in an equation, you want to keep both sides of the equation balanced. So when we're actually solving and we do the opposites and we're working backwards, we're keeping the equation balanced by doing it to both sides. So if we add something to both sides, we're using the addition property of equality. If we subtract something on both sides, it's the subtraction property of equality. Then same thing for multiplication and division. And the distributive property is just part of simplifying. So like in number one, statement number one is always given for the reason because that's the given problem. So if we look at the difference between step 1 to step 2, we would notice that the 2 was distributed on the left-hand side. So that's actually the reason, and I just abbreviate these. Now if we notice the difference between step 2 to step 3, we actually would have to add 18 to both sides, and again, the both sides part is the property of equality. So this would just be the addition property of equality, and I just use equal sign instead of the word. And then looking from step 3 to step 4, you notice that we would have to divide by 2 on both sides. So this is the division property of equality. Okay. So if you notice, that's how these proofs work basically. It's just saying, okay, we know step 1 is the given equation. What's happening between the previous step and the next step using the property of equality that happened or the distributive property. So if you look at number 2, step 1 to step 2, you notice that we'd have to subtract 10 on both sides. So that would be the subtraction property of equality. And then if you're looking from step 2 to step 3, since the equation had m over -3 and we know a fraction bar means division, then we actually use the property of multiplication property of equality and multiply by -3 on both sides. We just put it as a fraction over 1 on the fraction side so that they divide out, and then just multiply -11 times -3. That's how we get positive 33. So this would be the multiplication property of equality. Okay. So again, we're stating which property we use on both sides to work backwards or undo the previous step. So I want you to go ahead and do numbers 3 through 7 on your own, and then so pause the video, and then I want you to check the answer key that I'll post at the end so that you can see if you were able to complete the steps and the properties and the reasons correctly. And then we'll bring any questions, or if there's anything that's confusing. I will have to say on this side there is a combine like terms step, so we could even add beyond this bullet, we could say combine like terms as a reason. Okay, so just know that there is a problem on the next page that will use that. Okay, so again, pause it, do problems 3 through 7, and then check the answer key at the end.